This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
Get ready for Cafe Mocha with comedian Lonnie Love, rap legend Yo-Yo, and I'm Angelique, the producer. Last weekend, Lonnie hosted the 2nd annual HBCU First Look Film Festival presented by AARP. We gave thousands of dollars in scholarship money to HBCU filmmakers and gave them opportunities to learn from the best in the biz. On the way, Notori Naughton, rapper turned politician Shyne, JB Smoove were all at the film festival. They're coming up on Cafe Mocha. Last weekend, you were at the HBCU First Look Film Festival, 2nd annual at Howard University. Lonnie, you hosted, watched a bunch of all the films. Judge them. First, remind people what this film festival is.
This is a film festival that was created and founded by our executive producer at Cafe Mocha, Sheila Eldridge. And the purpose is to give exposure to HBCU student filmmakers. And we had this year over 200 films. Our first HBCU First Look last year, we had our opening film, which was Rustin. And it was presented by both Barack and Michelle Obama, along with the star Coleman Domingo. And so we, going on that, we decided to have another one at Howard University, and it was even more successful with the student films. We had over 200 submissions, and we had 7 finalists. And because of the great people at P&G, this year we were able to do not 1 top prize, but 3 prizes. So the 3rd prize went to Kamarley Henry of Morehouse College, based on his animation film called Chad's Night Out. Yes, our HBCU students do animation, and he won $1,000. We had the wonderful director, producer Leah Simone Scott from Howard University. She won 2nd place for Best Short Film called The Last Summer. And our top prize winner was Promise Robinson from Hampton University, a wonderful film. It was in the category of family and faith called Young, Black, and Gifted, and she won $5,000. And like I said, we had over it was really hard. You had to look at all 200 movies, but they were great. And our top prizes came out. And with that, we also, when we announced the prizes, we also had a luncheon where we had actress and producer Keisha Knight Pullum give the keynote, and she was there. And then we also did a Salute Her Awards where we saluted 2 women along with Keisha, Stacy Milner from HBCU Los Angeles and TJ Mercer from Move-In Day Mafia. And TJ Mercer is really good friends with Sherry Shepherd. So we were able to get Sherry to do a surprise appearance to present to TJ. And TJ was just so overwhelmed and she was so happy. And, again, we could not do this First Look Film Festival without the help of our sponsors at AARP, P&G, and a host of other sponsors. But, Angelique and Yo-Yo, I think the timing of it was so well needed because it was November the 8th is when we started. It was right after the election results. You could still see the stage that Kamala had built for her concession speech. And the students, even in the festival, there was this sense of heaviness. And I think we forget that they're students. They're young. They haven't experienced life the way a lot of us have, especially you, Angelique. But you know,
So
but
mean. You so mean.
she thought I was getting all serious.
I
I was like,
did.
I'm gonna throw something in there. But having this festival at that time really was a great distraction for the students. We had a host of panels. David E. Talbert gave us a wonderful master class in producing and directing. Nikiche Okori Carol, she's the showrunner for the NBC show Found. So she gave us a wonderful lesson in being a showrunner, hosting, and things like that. And
And
we had like,
I'm sorry, please watch Found on NBC. Go ahead.
yeah, it was wonderful. And our closing night panel was Shyne, the rapper Shyne. He has a documentary, so we had a panel with him, and he's just a wonderful person. And we had a host of other people. If you go to hbcufirstlook.com, you'll see a lot of the panels that we had. You'll see the pictures. We had Phil Thornton have a panel, and it was just nice. I think it was, like I said, it was something that was needed because of the heaviness that you could feel on the campus. And so I was happy that we were able to pull it off, and it was a wonderful job. And again, AARP was the presenting sponsor of the Salute Them, My HBCU Joy. And our girl Shani Holston from AARP has always been a great supporter and sponsor, especially with Cafe Mocha. And P&G and the United Negro College Funds provided the scholarships. And this is what we have to do right now. These next couple of years are going to be very pivotal, and we have to keep uplifting each other up. And so we want you to keep listening to Cafe Mocha. We're going to have different types of programs and shows that we're going to, give to our community to help uplift us. And so this is just one of them. But congratulations to everyone for the second annual HBCU First Look Film Festival. It was a great event. And hopefully we'll look for the third annual one, maybe on Prairie View's campus. I'm trying to go down to Texas.
That's right.
Let's go.
It's Cafe Mocha up next. My interview with Notori Naughton Lewis from the HBCU First Look Film Festival.
On the way, Lonnie Love interviews Notori Naughton, but first we got to talk about the election.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha with Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo, Angelique. I'm sure we're all still coming to terms with this election. I don't know what to say.
Well, it's the election results that we didn't think would happen, but it has. And basically, the Americans have spoken. Donald J. Trump will be the 47th president of the United States. He will also have a majority-led House, Congress, and Senate. And we already know that he has stacked the Supreme Court. So his
basically they can do whatever in English, they can do whatever they want to, and we can't do a thing to stop it except sue. But then, you sue, it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, which is stacked with a bunch of conservatives, is just going to say, do what you want to.
Well, I mean, a lot of people were disappointed, and I don't know, Yo-Yo, how did you feel when you heard the results?
First of all, it was the first time my daughter Sinai was able to vote because, she's just turned 21. So before then she wasn't 18. So she was excited going through all of the propositions and having her first, just the enthusiasm of being able to celebrate what was about to be a historical moment. She heard the rhetoric of Donald Trump and understood what he stood for and all of the legal battles he was up against. So to for all of my house to hear him win was devastating. I mean, and I didn't even get a chance to call my dad because my dad, who is a Marine veteran, fought in the Vietnam War, was upside down. I mean, just those who understand what this country is built on and what it needs to function was just, I mean, literally in tears.
Well, a lot of the reasoning, because now you're going to hear all this analysis and things, but it seems as if many Democrats failed to turn out to vote at the rate that they did in 2020 when they first ousted Donald Trump. That's what it's looking like. It's also looking as if majority white male and female voted for in favor of him. Also, Latino males voted in favor. But of course, the sisters.
There were some secretive folks who look like us who were talking that sisterhoods and looking for change and ready to have a woman run this country who was talking that talk on Instagram and in the room with their friends and deep down in their heart they wanted to vote for Trump and did.
Well, also there are a lot of cultures that, voted for him. And I think that a lot of people, I think that sometimes, especially in California, we tend to live in a bubble. But this is the reason why I go out on the ground. I go and I knock on the doors of the battleground states. And when you knock on the doors and you see the signs and you hear the people, you get a different type of understanding. And this is why I encourage people to go out and talk and get different opinions, because those battle states, that's the reason why she went back three and four times to Michigan, and even trying to go around to different places. What I think you're going to find out is that there was a lot of mismanagement with her campaign. There was a lot of money spent on things that didn't give the returns that she should have gotten. And there were some missteps that were not necessarily her fault. It was the fault of the campaign. And so I just think that a lot of that is going to come out as to why, because she was never able to really clearly get her message out. We know she's the better candidate. But for a lot of people that, people forget, only 1/3 of Americans are online. So if only 1/3 of, everybody's not online. Everybody doesn't get their news from us. So a lot of times when you see those ads that are on television and you got the older people watching those ads can be very effective. And if you don't answer to that, then it's really hard. If you don't go to the correct places, it's nice that you go to the Shade Room. It's nice that you go to the Club Shay Shay, but you have only 12 national black radio stations, us being one of them. 12. You should have did a junket and should have talked to all 12 of us, because we have dedicated listeners that can help you get your message out. But see, these are the type of mistakes that happen when you don't necessarily have the right people running your campaign. That's my view. That's what I'm saying, because it's too many people that's like, wow, I don't know enough of her, or I didn't. And some people just want to say, well, it's just racism. You can't necessarily say it's all racism, because one, we did elect a black president twice. Number two, they did vote for her when they voted for Joe Biden. So you could say some racism. Yes, I will say that. And a tinge, but we got to understand too that there were some mistakes that happened in that campaign. And now we're all going to be suffering.
And you know what else, Lonnie, I'd like to add to that is that a lot of people want to see some change. You go to a lot of these Republican states and they're beautiful. You come in a lot of these Democratic states, the Democratic Party have to do some work. I mean, I'm a Democratic and I've been voting, but some people wanted to see a shakeup. Some people wanted to ruffle some feathers and shake up some trees, not knowing that the long haul of what the backstory was, not really understanding politics and understanding education and understanding the other things that were going to be affected by their choice. But them saying, hey, listen, we want to seize our borders. We want to get this under control. A lot of people wanted to see that happen. A lot of people said, hey, listen, I'm sick of working 5 to 6 jobs. I feel like I'm running in circle and I'm not seeing life. And they wanted to see a change. Although that was just the picture they painted. And a lot of people were saying, hey, listen, I just don't think she can get the job done because, like you said, there was not enough people really talking about that. And secretly, it became the outcome that was.
Listen, I don't care about how the campaign was run. We got to look forward in the fact that they are already trying to institutionalize this daggone Project 2025. They are already setting it up. There are all the things, all 972 pages or however many pages there are, 900 plus. They're working on that right now. So everybody who thought that, well, Trump said, oh, that's not me. That has nothing to do with me. You're about to see all these men out here, especially the poor ones, especially the struggling ones, they're going to see what they
Definitely
voted for.
Well, I do want to end with this. One is that don't ask no black women to come to no marches because the sister said we done had enough. They're going to take a mental break. A lot of them are. And number two, now, the Americans have spoken, and now it is time to work towards the midterms. In the midterms in 2026, all 435 House seats will be up. There will be, out of the 100 Senate seats, 33 will be up and available. So until then, I would say, I talked to one of my friends her father is very, very wealthy. And he said, this is the time to make your money and just hold your head down. So I don't want everybody to see that it's going to get bad, but whatever you can do, save your money, research, read, and take care of you and your mental health because you've done all that you could do in this situation. This is Cafe Mocha.
We got 4 years to think about it. Let's move on to better topics. Last weekend, Lonnie Love hosted and judged the second annual HBCU First Look Film Festival. We're taking applications for the next festival starting in January. And don't worry if you don't have fancy equipment. We actually have a category called Best Film Shot on a Cell Phone. So there are absolutely no excuses. Go to HBCUFirstLook.com. Cafe Mocha, radio from a woman's perspective. Last weekend, Lonnie Love hosted and judged the HBCU First Look Film Festival at Howard. Rapper turned politician Shyne was there premiering his new documentary. It's called The Honorable Shyne. Let's listen to a clip.
At this point, I'm with Puff all the time. I go to Club New York, we hanging out, and I think we're getting ready to leave.
And then you hear pop, pop, pop.
Blood war.
Police are questioning entertainers Sean Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez following a shooting at a nightclub.
I had nothing to do with a shooting in this club.
Puff couldn't handle going to jail. Every man for himself.
Puffy got acquitted and he got 10 years.
He was betrayed.
I was absolutely set up to be the fall guy.
Shyne, your movie is premiering here at the HBCU First Look Film Festival. What do you hope people take away from the documentary?
As a musician, I created music to try to inspire people and to share people's voices. And as a legislator, as a political leader, and just as an overall humanitarian where I'm at in my life right now, I want to create empowerment. I want to create light. I want to create inspiration for people. And I believe this documentary is gonna lend to that. I have a scripted series coming out and a motion picture, but this is the first of many installments of Shyne projects that hopefully will get everyone in that state of mind that if Shyne could have gone through what he went through, nobody would have ever written this. That I would go from Belize carrying a waste bucket because we didn't have a toilet system to Brooklyn single mother home to being, number one on the charts, millionaire at the age of 18, to being sacrificed by my co-defendant and spending 10 years in prison, surviving prison, getting out of prison, being deported, going to Israel, going to Paris, going back to Belize, getting elected to the House of Representatives, getting elected as the leader, the opposition leader, being in line to be the next prime minister of Belize.
Wow.
You couldn't write that if it was scripted in heaven, but the point I want to make to people is I'm not special. All of us, all of you out there have the power to keep going. Don't stop.
That's right. Don't stop. We're talking to Shyne. His new documentary is called The Honorable Shyne, and it's debuting this weekend on Hulu. Cafe Mocha. Last weekend, we were on the campus of Howard University for the HBCU First Look Film Festival, thanks to our sponsors, including AARP. Rapper turned politician Shyne premiered his documentary, The Honorable Shyne.
I spent 10 years in prison, but I was able to move on.
The trajectory of Shyne after that changed.
There's a time to pivot. There's a time to transition. And that's how I got into politics. The politics just came naturally because that made me have a purpose.
That's a beautiful thing when somebody finds their true purpose in life.
It took a lot of focus and commitment to go from being Puffy's fall guy to where you are now. Any thoughts for those who are worn out and ready to give up?
I believe it coincides with the documentary that life is a fight.
Yeah.
And it is a constant fight. You fight in high school to become Kobe Bryant. And when you get into the NBA, you fight to win an NBA championship. Aaron Judge dropped the ball, literally, in Yankee Stadium, I believe it was, struck out. That's life, but he'll come back, he and the Yankees, they'll come back and they will assemble themselves and hopefully win a World Series. But on the level of just day-to-day existence for young people in the current times that we're in globally, in America, in Belize, you have the responsibility of curating your life.
Okay.
And no politician, no external force, except the hand of God, can deter what your vision is for your life and for the life that you want to see for your country, for your state, for your community. But that is your responsibility. No one is going to do it for you. And the first time you fail can't be the last time you try.
Right.
So not because things aren't going necessarily the way that you want it to go means that it's not going to end up where you want it to be. And my documentary is proof of that. I did not want to be incarcerated for 10 years for taking someone else's rap, for not getting my friends in trouble when my friends got me in trouble, but I had to do that. And I had to have integrity, and I had to be honest with the values and the ideals that I subscribe to, and that came with a price tag. That came with consequences, but I mastered time. Time is not your enemy. Time is something that you must face, and you have to master it and manage it, and you can conquer time, but you cannot escape time. You must face time, but you can master time.
Wow, mastering time. I love that. Profound words from Shyne. His documentary, The Honorable Shyne, hits Hulu this weekend. It's Cafe Mocha. Again, go to HBCUFirstLook.com. We are going to be taking applications for next year's film festival coming up in January. This is Cafe Mocha.
We're at Cafe Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Cafe Mocha on the way.
Art tells a story, your story, and inspires others in your community to do the same. AARP is celebrating the undeniable impact and contributions of Black art and artists everywhere. We're thrilled to celebrate these creators over 50. Through their work and persistence, they make society a better place by bringing us all closer together. Learn more at aarp.org/blackcommunity.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha with Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo. I'm Angelique. On the line is filmmaker. Can I call you a filmmaker? Yeah, right. Writer, director. She went to Spelman, B. Monet. Welcome to Cafe Mocha.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited about P&G's Widen the Screen, which is a content creation and partnership platform. And you're a part of it. Can you tell us about that, B?
I a few years ago in 2019 was a part of Queen Collective with Queen Latifah's program, and it was so incredible. Got a chance to make Ballet After Dark, which is about a woman in Baltimore who is doing phenomenal things and unfortunately was sexually assaulted, but basically is creating a beautiful space for folks in Baltimore to find healing after trauma.
Wow. Can you talk about how important it is for us to be able to tell our stories in this climate and your process in doing that?
Yes, thank you so much for just allowing me to be here and, be in community with you all. I feel like for me, it's always been so important to have Black women be at the center and the fabric of the stories that I make. And so just being here is just so great. But I think what's also important is to have mentorship. Like, it was so beautiful to have someone like a Queen Latifah creating a platform and a space for young filmmakers to just make our art and make our work that's so rare, I feel like, in entertainment. I think a lot of people talk the talk, but they don't necessarily walk the walk. And so Queen Collective is, for me, just such a rare opportunity. And I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of something so legendary as something like that. So, yeah.
I love that. Because we just had here at Cafe Mocha our second annual HBCU First Look Film Festival. And just to see the different HBCU filmmakers is always a joy, and give them exposure is really, really nice. And you attended Spelman. So being, an HBCU, cool. I love it. But being a writer and director, how do you see the future in filmmaking for yourself, B. Monet?
Yeah, I love Spelman. I feel like for me, Spelman was the blueprint and the mecca. And I'm so grateful for a place like Spelman because I feel like I found myself there. And I feel like all the stories that I make are about Black women, and I just want so much for us to just have more stories about us in the forefront. And it's challenging seeing the stereotypes that are represented in larger media. But I feel like for me, I hope that I can continue to tell narrative features and TV shows and all the things. And hopefully, just having a film also on Peacock right now, hopefully that'll give more exposure. But yeah, I think it is so important for us more than ever to be artists right now, especially at such a crazy time that we're living in. So I think artists, hopefully they're feeling encouraged, even despite the world being on fire right now. But yeah.
B. Monet, tell us about, it is on fire. I want to ask you what the film Black Girls is about, but let's play a little bit of the trailer.
Who am I to bring forth joy and sweetness in a place that I was never meant to? On this road of reclamation, we are walking through everything that has ever broken us, and still we arrive with our hearts in our hands. We are every Black girl we have ever been, choosing happiness over heartbreak, choosing that trauma cannot be our resting place.
We're talking to B. Monet. She's part of P&G's Queen Collective, and it's all about helping the next generation of up-and-coming multicultural directors get into the biz and have their work seen. So tell me, what is Black Girls about?
So Black Girls is about 6 Black women and girls who have gone through tremendous odds, and all the stories are different. So it's like each story is a short film on a different Black woman and girl, but they all, like, the through line is that they all go through different adversities, but they do it in this beautiful way, and they are kind of like these whole people despite the different things that they experience. And so for us, me, yes, being the filmmaker, but also having great producers behind it, we wanted to just kind of like show a slice of life on what it's like to be a Black woman, and not to get too much into the weeds or glorify trauma, but to find joy in it. So I think despite them all going through different things, I think they come out at the end finding who they are and coming out as healed versions of themselves. So yeah, it's like a slice of the life of them. It's not too long. It's not 90 minutes. It's a little over 70 minutes. So it's almost like an episode of television, or maybe 2 episodes. So yeah, I hope that people like it, and please spread the word about it. And you can find it on Peacock. You can find it on Zumo. If you type in on Xfinity, you can look on it's on Black Experience. So yeah, it's a lot of different places that people can check it out. And we wanted to just make it accessible for folks to see. So
how do you think, like, if P&G hadn't made this initiative, do you think you would have been able to, really even work your craft?
Wow, what a question. I would like to think I would be able to, but I'm even just looking at the facts of I'm probably like one of 5 Black women that went to NYU, because I went to NYU after going to Spelman, and I went there for film. And I'm the only Black woman who made a feature, even though it's a documentary. Nobody in my class has made a feature yet outside of myself. So I don't know.
I mean, do you see how phenomenal you are? I mean, what you just said, B. Monet, it's like, it's 2024. Like, seriously. And this is why I asked the question, and why we have to hold these people that we buy their products. They got to give us something back. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we sit here, we buy their products, we support them. I'm so happy to have you on today, because that point is so pivotal when we talk to people about why we support certain things or we shouldn't support certain things. You're one of 5. Like, NYU, girl. It's Spelman too. I went to Prairie View. But anyway, it just blows my mind. It really, really does. So I think that you're wonderful. We're going to make sure that we put it up on the Cafe Mocha website about to watch your project. And B. Monet, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to the listeners. It's very, very important that we give exposure, that we keep talking about, these important things. And I think you're wonderful, dear.
Oh, I think y'all are wonderful too. And I very much have been a fan for a while. So thank you for having me. Like, this means a lot, like more than you know. I'm going to tell my mom, I'm like, oh my God, Lonnie today.
Tell her I said, hey, girl.
Congratulations.
We'll back too, because you're going to be big. We're going to have more projects, so you can always come. I'll still be here, probably with Angelique and Yo-Yo, unfortunately. So.
Yes.
We love you, B. Monet. Thank you for stopping in the Cafe Mocha. Take care.
Anytime. Thank y'all. Love
Thank
y'all.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is The Espresso. Comedian J.B. Smoove was at the HBCU First Look Film Festival with advice for content creators, especially the young ones.
You have to have a little bit of the old school along with the new school. Old school had a little patience. New school's a little fast. Everybody wants it immediately. So be prepared to put the work in, and I promise you later on you'll see why you should take your time.
And our second place winner, Leah Simone Scott of Howard University, talked about the importance of this film festival.
Like, I'm a Black filmmaker, obviously, and on the film festival circuit, you don't often get to show your film to a Black audience. For me, I was just like, I want to make sure that I am sharing my film with, the people who I really made my film for.
Leah came in second place, took home $2,500. Special thanks to P&G and the United Negro College Fund for that scholarship money. Leah says she got student loans. That's The Espresso.
This is Cafe Mocha. Radio from a woman's perspective.
It's Cafe Mocha. Lonnie Love is fresh back from the HBCU First Look Film Festival, which was held at Howard University again this year. It's all about giving the next generation of filmmakers a shot. I mean, it's a film festival, so HBCU students submitted their films. We gave away thousands of dollars in scholarship money, and we also gave film students a chance to learn from the pros. Here's a bit of Lonnie's interview with Notori Naughton Lewis from Power.
What made you want to get into executive producing?
Actually, this is maybe the next project. I have another project I EP'd with my husband called Color Book. That is actually in the festival run. Executive producing and just that whole lane is also opening up opportunities for the next generation, for more up-and-comers. As I see great stories and young filmmakers and people who aspire to be where I am, the goal is to not just stay in that one lane. Obviously, you may know me as Tasha from Power,
we love you as Tasha from Power.
Thank you.
We loved you at 3LW.
Thank you.
But you're just phenomenal.
Yes. Do y'all even know? What?
Yeah. Look, the babies know.
Okay, some of y'all. Okay. No, that's awesome. And that's actually what it's about, growth. So for me, as I grew from a music artist to an actress, I'm directing now. I just directed my first short film called 333, and now executive producing. And just, for me, it's about growth, but also creating opportunities for other Black and brown people who look just like me.
Speaking of her upcoming project, Notori executive produced a new movie called Style Me for Christmas. It's currently streaming on BET+.
Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. We're taking a look back at the HBCU First Film Festival that was in D.C. last weekend at Howard University. Sherry Shepherd was a surprise guest, and John Murray wasn't far behind. He's a longtime supporter of Cafe Mocha, and he did an interview with Kemba Smith. I'm sure you remember her story. Her movie came out a little bit ago about a college girl who falls in love with a drug dealer and then winds up in prison. He talked to Kemba and the movie's director, Kelly Cawley.
We have an intern at the Sherry Show, and I've been having her go around to different people's offices because I met her in Chicago at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention, and she told me, I'm gonna be an intern at your show. So then I got to see her once we started the show in September, and she told me her parents had got really mad at her because while she was in Chicago, she went to go visit her boyfriend in prison. And she's 21 years old, and she said her daddy noticed on the location services, and only if your parents would have had location services on cell phones back then, where she was, and they've been giving her a hard time. She's still seeing the young man who just got out of Rikers in New York City. And so I told her, I said, there's a movie I need you to watch because we've got to get a hold of you so you don't make bad mistakes. So this movie is needed and necessary, and college students today are still ending up in situations like this. So how important for you was it to share this cautionary guide with the world?
When I turned myself in 6.5 months pregnant in federal prison, and I prayed and I asked God to allow me to be a voice to prevent another young person from going down the same path, I didn't have any clue what God was going to do. And so you'll see in the film that there was a movement to help free me. And once those prison doors opened, because I was supposed to stay in prison a whole lot longer than what eventually came out, but it took the president of the United States to free me. And so I knew that I needed to stay true to why I believe God opened those prison doors. And number one, it was important because, like as you said, I wanted to prevent other Kimbas, and I knew that my story wasn't a unique one.
When Kimba's story came around my way, it was not just her story. This happened to my best friend. When I was getting ready to come to Howard, my dad was a Baptist pastor, grew up in the church. My best friend, known her since 2, she's more of like a sister to me. And her mother is a missionary in the church. We were just 2 church girls getting ready to go to our prospective HBCUs. And I was going to Howard, and she was heading out to Wilberforce. And that summer, there was a young deacon, at the church who we trusted and saw as a big brother, and he asked her if she would accept packages for her over the summer and get a little money for college. And she trusted him, and she said yes. Until one day, she had done it all summer, until one day she accepted a package, and then the door got kicked in, and it was the feds, and they had the dogs take her down, and they opened the package and found out that it was kilos of cocaine. And she had no idea. And so that summer I ended up going to college, and she ended up going to federal prison. And it did not matter. It's what Kimba is saying. It did not matter her circumstances. It did not matter that she came from a good family. It did not matter that she had no record before. She was just taken away from us. So I knew that when Kimba story came my way, that I had to do it. I was going to wrestle y'all if y'all was even trying to consider another director, because I had to do it for my best friend too, and for our family.
Before we get out of here, we have to thank some of the sponsors of the HBCU First Look Film Festival that took place on the campus of Howard University. AARP, one of the title sponsors, as well as
P&G. Also TV1, we want to thank NBC, HBCU Go TV, Howard University. How can we not? We gotta thank the Mecca for that, and just all of the students too for coming and being there, and all of the volunteers that come and help us to support. It really does take a village to do this festival. And, every year we get some wonderful men and women that help us. Also, Fox 5, they do all the interviews for us. And, it's just a village of people, and it makes you feel good. So to all of our sponsors and our media partners, thank you on behalf of Cafe Mocha.
Also got to thank NBC. Make sure you check out Found and The Irrational, both on NBC, both starring Black actors. Plus, one of my favorite networks, Oxygen True Crime. And for all the HBCU football games this season, you can stream hbcugo.tv. Until next time, find us on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.